And a very happy day, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Burgess back with another video for Think and Grow Rich. And today I want to go through Faith Part 3. Now, we've talked about how to develop faith where faith does not already exist. And if you stretched yourself out a bit in those 6 steps, you probably don't have the faith required in your own abilities to pull it off. Well, there's only one way to develop that faith. And it's very simple. Repetition of affirmation of orders to the subconscious mind. Just like math class. Over and over again, we looked at the flashcards. Over and over again. 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, 1 plus 4, 1 plus 5, and then 2 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3. Over and over and over and over and over again. That's the same way you develop faith in your ability to pull off what you want to pull off. Now, yesterday we concluded the last video, part 2, with what we were talking about how faith is the basis of all miracles. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. Faith is the element in the chemical which, when mixed with prayer, gives one direct communication with infinite intelligence. We talked about how the proof is simple and easily demonstrated. It's wrapped up in the principle of self-suggestion. And Napoleon wants to continue in this chapter. He says it's a well-known fact that one comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or false. So we're talking to ourselves all the time, every day, ladies and gentlemen. A moment doesn't go by, excuse me, where you're not talking to yourself about something. Now, you may not be consciously aware of that taking place, but it is taking place. It is a well-known fact that one comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or false. If a man repeats a lie over and over, he will eventually accept the lie as truth. Moreover, he will believe it to be truth. So whatever we impress upon ourselves over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, we consider to be true, whether it really is or not. For example, I'll bet you've heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And you've heard that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And some of you probably believe that to be gospel. And I'm telling you, that is the furthest thing from the truth that you could get. Excuse me. Moreover, if he accepts the lie as a truth, he will believe it to be truth. And every person is what they are because of the dominating thoughts which we permit to occupy the mind. Thoughts which a person deliberately places in his own mind and encourages with sympathy, and then mixes any one or more of the emotions with that constitute the motivating force which direct and control his every movement, act, and deed. What's he saying here? Isn't he saying that feelings direct our every movement, act, and deed? Feelings, it's the way we feel that is expressed in the action. He says this, he says, comes now a very significant statement of truth. Thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotions constitute a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the ether other similar or related thoughts. Isn't he talking about the law of attraction right there? 1937, he wrote this book, and he's talking about the law of vibration. In 1937. He says this, a thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed, which, when planted in fertile soil, germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again until that which was originally one small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that's true. Mother Nature advertises this to us all the time. One seed, when planted in fertile soil, becomes millions of seeds of the same brand. Our thoughts are the same way. When we mix emotion with the thought, it's a magnetic force attracting other thoughts that are similar related to that thought. For example, plant an apple tree. One seed. You plant that apple seed. Now, it takes 3, 5, 7 years, depending upon the species of apple tree we're talking about. And yeah, there are different species. But anyway, for 3 to 5 to 7 years, we have to nurture this seed, take care of this seed. But once this seed matures and we have an apple tree, don't we get bushels and bushels and bushels of apples off of that tree? And every apple has with it more seeds. So one small seed planted in fertile soil, taken care of until it matures, becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. Ladies and gentlemen, your thoughts operate the same way. Mother Nature advertises it to us every day. Now remember this happening, and we enjoy snapdragons. It's a little flower, it's called a snapdragon. And they have little black poppy seeds. I mean, these things are tiny. And one seed, just one of these little black things that you can hardly see, creates this beautiful flower. And when the flower dries up, there's a little pod in each one of these little flowers called a snapdragon. And that little pod, just one little pod, has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those little black seeds in it. So one seed, called a snapdragon, when planted and taken care of, just one pod creates hundreds more seeds. There's several pods on each one of these dried out flowers. So we've literally have thousands of snapdragon seeds that came from just one seed. So make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, what Napoleon Hill is talking about here is advertised to us each and every day. All we have to do is pay attention. Oh, shoot. There's the hard part. We have to actually pay attention and observe and be aware. It says, the ether is a great cosmic mass of eternal forces of vibration. When he first started talking about the ether, and I'm reading this book, I'm thinking the ether that you put on your face to go to sleep, laughing gas, right? No, he's not talking about that. He's talking about microwaves. Right now, we're communicating with you through the air without the aid of wires. We're communicating through the ether. That's what Napoleon's talking about, okay? So hopefully that clarifies that. The ether is a great cosmic mass of eternal forces of vibration. It is made up of both destructive vibrations and constructive vibrations. It carries at all times vibrations of fear, poverty, disease, failure, misery, and vibrations of prosperity, health, success, and happiness. Just as surely as it carries the sounds of hundreds of orchestrations of music and hundreds of human voices, all of which maintain their own individuality and means of identification through the medium of the radio. Now we know that's true through the medium of the radio. You turn a radio on and you're going to hear that voice, those sounds, those words. We know this is true. And he wrote this, remember, in 1937. This guy was a little bit beyond his time. He says, from the great storehouse of the ether, the human mind is constantly attracting vibrations which harmonize with that which dominates the human mind. So this brings me to this question. What is dominating your mind? Is it thoughts of faith or is it thoughts of fear? What is it? I mean, right now in our society, man, come on, it's a little whacked out there. However, it doesn't have to be whacked in here, does it? I don't think so. Any thought, idea, plan, or purpose which one holds in one's mind attracts from the vibrations of the ether a host of its relatives, adds these relatives to its own force, and grows until it becomes the dominating, motivating master of the individual in whose mind it has been housed. So, what thought, idea, plan, or purpose are you holding in your mind? And then that's really the question right now. That's the whole point of the chapter on desire and the 6 steps. It's the whole point of creating faith where faith does not already exist, is to become aware of the dominating thoughts that are in the mind, because that is the life that is being created. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake. He says, now let us go back to the starting point and become informed as to how the original seed of an idea, plan, or purpose may be planted in the mind. The information is easily conveyed. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through the repetition of thought. Repetition of thought. 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2. Repetition every day, 5 days a week, 9 months a year, 12 years of your life for most, not for me. But anyway, but repetition over and over and over and over again. Same thing. It sounds so simple and so elementary. That's because it is. It's not hard, ladies and gentlemen. The hard part is you and I disciplining ourselves to actually do what Napoleon is asking us to do. There's nothing in this book that's hard. There's nothing in this book that's difficult. It's actually quite simple. It's very elementary. It's only a matter of will we exercise the self-discipline to actually do it. He's through the repetition of thought, right? And he says this then. He says, this is why you were asked to write out a statement of your major purpose or definite chief aim, commit it to memory, and repeat it out loud in audible words every morning and every night. And he wants you to do that until these vibrations of sound have reached the subconscious mind. We are what we are because of the vibrations of thought which we pick up and register through the stimuli of our daily environment. What's going on in your daily environment? Are we controlling the daily environment, or are we being controlled by the daily environment? It's a great question. Think about it. Think about it. Resolve to throw off the influences of any unfortunate environment. Control the environment. Don't be controlled by it. Resolve to throw off the influences of any unfortunate environment and to build your own life to order. Taking inventory of mental assets and liabilities, you will discover that your greatest weakness is lack of self-confidence. This handicap can be surmounted and timidity translated into courage through the aid of the principle of self-suggestion. Self-suggestion, ladies and gentlemen, on purpose by design. The application of this principle may be made through a simple arrangement of positive thought impulses, stated in writing, memorized and repeated until they become part of the working equipment of the subconscious faculty of your mind. In other words, write it out and read it over and over and over again. Wait a minute. Step 6. How simple is this? Well, next, Napoleon gives us a self-confidence formula. And he asks us to read this formula every day and to sign it, that we will read it every day. And the self-confidence formula is very simple. It says, first, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. Second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Remember we talked about clarity and confusion? This is where we want clarity. Third, I know through the principle of self-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Take 10 minutes every day and watch one of these videos. Hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the notification button right now so you don't miss one. 10 minutes a day watching these videos will increase your self-confidence. Not because of me, it's because of this book. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Don't quit on yourself. You know, there's a saying, and it's actually in this book, it says, winners never quit and quitters never win. Excuse me, that's bullshit. I mean, that's just BS. What he's talking about is you never quit on yourself. You may need to quit a position that's just not panning out. You may have this great idea to move forward on something and realize that's not what I really want. You may need to quit. So when Napoleon wrote those words, and we'll get to them in chapter 7, he meant you never quit on yourself. Never quit on you. Never quit on you and who you're becoming. Fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction that does not benefit all whom it affects. Excuse me. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. You will believe in yourself more so after you implement what Napoleon Hill is asking us to do. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. He says, back of this formula is a law of nature which no man has yet been able to explain. It has baffled the scientists of all ages. The psychologists have named this law autosuggestion and let it go at that. The name by which one calls this law is of little importance. As a matter of fact, the name doesn't mean anything. The important fact about it is this. It works for the glory and success of mankind if it is used constructively. On the other hand, if it is used destructively, it will destroy just as readily. In this statement may be found a very significant truth, namely, that those who go down in defeat and end their lives in poverty, misery, and distress do so because of the negative application of the principle of self-suggestion. The negative application of the principle of self-suggestion. It's the suggestion to self that's negative. The dominating thoughts are negative. You got a negative frequency of vibration. You're attracting negative shit into your life. Negative things keep happening and you go, why me? The negative use of self-suggestion. He says all impulses of thought have a tendency to clothe themselves in their physical equivalent. So what are the dominating thoughts that are upon your mind right now? Ladies and gentlemen, grab the self-confidence formula out of this chapter. Print it out. Write it. Put it on your computer. Print it. Do whatever. Put it somewhere. I have them all over. There's one right over there, right behind the camera. There's one hanging on the wall back there. There's one right over here, taped to my filing cabinet. They're everywhere. Why? Because I want to read it all the time. I really didn't have to have the book to read that, but for whatever reason, I used it as a crutch. But grab the self-confidence formula, ladies and gentlemen. Read the self-confidence formula every day. It doesn't take but 3 minutes. We just did it here in a few minutes. So do that. And watch what happens to your confidence level as you repetitively impress those thoughts upon your subconscious mind. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we want to take a minute to thank Joe. Without Joe, we wouldn't be here. So Joe, I wanted from my heart to yours, brother, thank you so much for everything that you do. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we want this day right now, to be the very best day you have ever experienced in this game we call life. Yesterday doesn't matter, it's already gone. Tomorrow isn't here, it doesn't matter. We can only plan for it. However, today, we can allow to be the best. One of the ways to allow it to be the best, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button. That way you'll get notified of our next videos, allowing it to be even a better day. So don't hesitate. Make this day the best day by allowing it to be the best day. And may God bless each and every one of you. Have a fabulous day today.